walk with me.
Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the I am. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies, that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then I shall not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart, and I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. I will keep thy statutes. O forsake me not utterly. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto, according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee. O let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. Blessed art thou, O even Yahweh, Yahuwah, Ya Allah. Teach me thy statutes. With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimony, as much as in all riches. Yes. Psalms 119, verses 1 through 14. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits, who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. A prayer of Abram. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you that have on this platform and shared platforms, we thank God for you. You're walking with Mr. Clay. I am Mr. Clay. Yes. And we thank God for all of you. Yes, those of you who subscribe, those of you who followed, we thank God for you. And also, we're going to give a hand clap of praise for those of you who have followed and been with us from the beginning, and those of you that have been with us thereafter and here and there's about. We thank God for you, and we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed. We give God the glory and the praise for you. And those of you that are about to subscribe or follow, we thank God for you also, giving praise and glory to he who possesses all things, even our great and most holy creator, powerful beyond measure. We thank him for all things. Yes. Yes, a beautiful day, a beautiful day. I notice how that the Most High is working. See, you watch the news, there's a way to watch God's news. I mean, many look at the prophecies, but many times you might come up, oh, this man is the Antichrist, this man is the Antichrist. No, that's not even it. That's not even it. You read about this person or this group of people in the book of Daniel, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, and they all talk about this end time thing. I basically exclude the New Testament because it is most grossly corrupted. Grossly corrupted. And that's why I exclude it. Because the fact is that it doesn't make, it's many things are borrowed. It's like a wedding, a woman's wedding. In other words, something borrowed, something old, something new. And that's something. That's what it is. Period. So it is grossly corrupted. And we're in the book of Oshea, aka Joshua. Yes, that is his name. We're in the fifth. We're in the fifth. Yes, the fifth. Yes, I believe the fifth. Let me check one more time. I believe we're in the fifth. Yes. I'm trying to figure this out. That's sometimes we can get a little bit beside ourselves. Yeah, we're in the fifth chapter of the book of Joshua. I read it last night, but I was reading some of everything, just, basically going over the laws. And then I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 12. I wake up and things just start coming to my mind. I don't know if that's happening to you, but it comes to my mind as far as the word of the Most High, as far as the history that have come about. I'm sure there's a spirit, we call them angels, that speak to our minds, and we base the things that they speak on the law of the Most High. Because whether you have a prophecy or what, it's not based on the law, it's wrong. I mean, it might be true, but it's still wrong. But the fact is that we read about a little segment of Oshea, aka Joshua, in the book of Jasher, as we just come out of the book of Jasher. Now we're in the book of Oshea. Now it gives us a little more detail of what happened in this book, whereas some parts of the other, what Jasher covers is not given in much detail in the other books of Septuagint or the Pentateuch. And this is why we have those books. God has 2 or 3 witnesses. Yes, that's what God says. Even in the law, it says let everything be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. That's what it says. It's not just by the New Testament. That's borrowed. A lot of things in the New Testament are borrowed. Some are new, especially the part where you say God has some man beside him. Standing beside the Most High, even Stephen, whom they made up, being persecuted and all that stuff. Christians really never really been under no dire persecution. It basically was those that followed the law was the ones that were under most persecution. But that's only according to that narrative and whatever the Romans could muster up. But either way, in verse 5 in chapter 1, and it came to pass, all the kings of the Amorites which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites which were by the sea, heard that the had dried up the waters of the Jordan from before the children of Israel, until they were passed over, that their hearts melted, neither was the spirit of them in any more because of the children of Israel. Even the harlot Rahab says our heart melted. If you read in the previous chapters, she says our heart melted, because it was really not because of the Israelites. It was because of who was with the Israelites. It's not about you. See, God is dealing with the minds of these people. We're living in a world that is spiritual. It's kind of hard to fathom what is going on for what you see. You see here some of these Charlatan priests and all this stuff. They talk about, oh, don't go by your eyes in these different movies and stuff. No. What is behind this person and their evil? See, this is why we have to understand the history of Israel. We have to understand this book and the books that were written before it. Then in doing so, we have to see God in all of it. Let us continue. They melted because of God. That's how they hearted. They knew this power that was with them, this God power that was with them. And at the time the said unto Oshea, even Joshua, make these sharp knives and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time. Now, many times we want to go before the Most High. Now he's saying, oh, hold up. You're going to have to keep my covenant. The covenant which I had made with your father Abram. I know in that time we had so much going on, and I had a lot of things to do. No, I did not forget. I just did not see that as significant right now at that time. But now, before you go before, you must sanctify yourself. And by this you sanctify yourself in your circumcision. Not only circumcision of your foreskin, but circumcision of your heart, even of the women. Circumcision of your heart. Yes. That is a true circumcision, but yet we have to do what's on earth first, as it is in heaven. Circumcise your heart. In other words, become sensitive to the things of God. Become sensitive to what you know and understand about God. And the only way you can become sensitive about things is it's been repeated in your head for a long time. This is how the devils work too. They will get you on that TV or get you in them churches and teach you all, turn your head, do this, do that. Don't, receive it when the pastor approves of you, then you go on your way to heaven. And if the priest approves of you, you on your way to heaven, or your imam or whatever. No, you seek honor from men. Seek that honor that comes from God, the Most High. So nini na nini. Yes, Him. Now, this is what we're talking about. And Oshea, even Joshua, made him sharp knives and circumcised the children of Israel at the heel of the foreskins. In other words, it was just a heap of foreskins of men. And look how many men there were if you read in the previous chapter. It says, now this is the cause why Oshea did circumcise. All the people that came out of Egypt were males. Even all the men of war died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness, by the way as they came forth out of Egypt, they had not circumcised. In other words, circumcision is symbolic. It's more painful than your fictitious baptism, which God never instituted. Oh, how can you say that? It's written. I can throw anything in a Bible and say it's canonized. Who are they to say who they canonize? Huh? The truth is according to the law. The law is there. Don't no John the Baptist make up no law, or no Isis or no man make up no law that God have already instituted. No way. So they wasn't circumcised. Now, for the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness until all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed, because God had made a promise. He said, because they were stiff-necked people. In other words, here they go, Aaron, he threw some gold and stuff in a fire, and the demons got to going, and then they came out. He said, out came this calf. Yes, okay. That was a spiritual thing that was going on to try them. Do you not know that Satan's come among the angels and ask God things reverently because they know his power? He said, and then he would go and say, hey, I got a man that I really am pleased with. Have you considered my servant Abram? Have you considered my servant Job? Okay, let's go ahead on. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people that abode in their places in the camp, till they were whole. In other words, it's a hard deal, especially if you're older, even babies, it's still hard on them. It takes a while. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover. Yes, important. On the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho. It says Jericho. But we have to realize this is a Western thought in this whole thing, really. And we have to really think differently when we're talking about the Old Testament. The New Testament, really, like I said before, I am not enthused by it, because everything they did was brought forth from here. And they did eat of the old corn of the land, and on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes, and the parched corn, boiled corn, in the same day. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna anymore, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan. Now, when you press between a rock and a hard place, God is going to feed you, if you have trusted in God. When you're pressed between a rock and you don't have to depend on man for anything. For that he had taught Joseph. When Joseph was cast into prison, God was angry at Joseph because Joseph asked the priest, remember me when you go before the king. No! You ask no preacher, no lawyer, no nothing. If your trust is in the Most High, you trust him, that he has went before you and dealt with the hearts and minds of men, or either deleted them out the way. We have to do these things. It's hard, yes. God knows that, because you're faced with things that we walk by our sight and not by what we know is right and what we know God says he will do. try God, test him. You're not really testing God. You're saying, hey, you said this, I'm going to believe it. God says that you should eat such and such a food. Now, over time, if you eat that way God tells you to eat, and you have ailments, wouldn't they not go away? You're sick. The worms and the hogs and pigs and crustaceans that you eat, the unclean foods that you consume daily. And then you wonder why you're sick all the time, especially those of you that are of the Most High. The heathen can do what they want to do. God has a plan for them. Unless they turn to the Most High. Yes, he has a plan for them. And he said, and it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho, and lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against with his sword in his hand. This is just before Jericho. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us, or art thou for our adversaries? In other words, for him he saw a man. Was this man, it didn't say he had a glory around him. It didn't say he had anything around him. But he asked him, who are you? You for us or you for them? And he said, nay, but as the captain of the host of the I am I come now? Somebody might say it's Michael. It didn't say that, did it? You don't know who it is. See, just like they say Gabriel was the one that taught Muhammad, or Gabriel was the one that gave the message to Mary, a lying message. No, Gabriel has his duties before the Most High. He has his duty, and whatever duties Gabriel was given, the Most High commanded him to do, and he will tell it. The same thing with Michael or any one of them. These are just angels that are significant in different things. There are many. There are, do you know there are elders that look like elders. There are angels that constantly before the Most High, and they come down. This is one of the angels that gave Moses the law, that talked to Moses and gave him the books of the law. Now, it was God that wrote the Ten Commandments, but it was the angel that gave Moses the books of the law. He told him, he quickened his mind that that a scribe could transcribe it onto parchment or paper, whatever they had. Now, no, that was past stone. See, apparently Egypt got his way messed up because they were still in the Stone Age writing on rocks. But the fact is now, it came to pass when Oshea was by, he saw the man, okay? In verse 14, and he said, nay, no, but as the captain of the host of the I am I now come? And Joshua fell on his face to the earth. In other words, this man looked powerful. I mean, powerful. He might not have been a big man or nothing like that, but he was powerful in his presence. There is something the military calls presence. That presence is just something that is not given to everyone. Very few have that presence. Sometimes the rank that men give you is presence, but then it doesn't really constitute presence, because you might be of a stature or a certain air about you that does not even jive with the office you've been given. You can give a fool the office and still people will not respect him because he wears a certain rank. No, but this presence of this man with this sword, he was a captain. And he says, and he did worship and said unto him, what saith? It wouldn't be the word Lord. No, it would be like leader, my leader unto this his servant, or my captain unto his servant. You have to watch these words of these colonizers. This is a trip. Now, and the captain of the I am host said unto Oshea, loose thy shoe from off thy foot. Now this has to be some captain that was ever in the presence of the Most High, because that presence of the Most High even Moses was in the presence of the Most High, and that his face shone. There's an anointing there, and that's the only way That's what, should I say, Oshea or Joshua saw, was that presence. That presence that said to his spirit, this is holy. This is powerful. Not because of how he looked, but because the presence of the Most High was upon him. Yes. And the captain of the I Am said unto Oshea, loose thy shoe from off thy foot, because God's presence was with this captain of the I Am's host. The place whereon thou standest is holy. And Oshea did so. So now here you go. This is the preparation. These were the same things probably that Elijah saw. There was a captain of that host that Elijah saw with chariots. Now, who knows what was that Oshea didn't see, or Joshua did not see, that this entity had with him or behind him. It's sort of like the dream I had. I had a dream where I saw a man. This man was a black man. I mean, just big, and he was walking down an aisle of innumerable hosts, innumerable men, and they were all look like the same, almost the same. They were black men with black beards as though they were young. And then I looked up again and I saw 3 men in orange uniform, black men, big, bulky, giants. They were very tall and big, like the Hulk. And they were in chains, and as this man started talking, I looked up at him, and next thing you know, these guys in the chain, my vision went back to him, and these chains, they were going, "Hum, huh." In other words, they were so angry they wanted to get loose from them chains, but it wasn't their time. God is planning something. Powerful is he. He can subdue billions at just a mention of a word. Now, these men played on the minds. They played in everything, when they blowed the trumpets. God had instructed in heaven, when you hear these trumpets blow according to as I instruct, knock down the walls. Let me say a few more things. When you hear these trumpets blow, melt these people's hearts to the point where they can't even fight. See, God uses his messengers. He uses his spirits. He uses them. Why should he do anything when they even radiate the presence of the Most High? God says, knock down these walls and subdue it. Just tear it all down. These people wasn't supposed to be here from the get-go. They're back a few 1,000 years ago or so. Their ancestors, the Canaan, went into a land that was not his. That is the land of Shem. See, this is why you would see that you see, I put this, one of the images of Pangea behind me, because that's the way the world was before. And they give you this cockamamie stuff of writing these books and putting these books out and making you think that people came over on ships and stuff. They were already there. They were there at the split. What is happening? God's showing you a sign right here that he allowed, even down there in a little south of in Africa, the land is splitting. People are on the other side. Wouldn't that be a sign from God to show you that you better start seeing him in the things that you see today? And stop looking at the history. You can look at the history, but the history only teaches you what God can do. And you stop limiting his power. He created this earth, one land, one sea. Even the Bible says that. Then it says, even the Bible says before the division of people, then he said, and the earth. They put wordplay on you and tricks on you. This was not so long ago, millions of years ago. The earth is never millions of years ago. This is a lie concocted from people who says, I'm right. You better leave that alone. You go by God's things and what God shows you. Signs in the earth, vapor of smoke, and all these things. You go by God's signs. God will show you and he will teach you. How you think these other people can sit up there and make televisions with electricity that comes out of thin air? This is God. Or make cars that can fly and all these things and don't need a drop of gas or nothing. But yet now there's silence and you hear nothing. God is showing you that I can control the minds of men. I can give a man an idea and it works, although he has no education. Neither does he understand the law of physics. He didn't have to go there. You find out most of the people that are educated work for those who are uneducated. Ooh, my God, my God, my God. Yes, it takes education to try to understand how to deal with this. But then the one who's uneducated, he know enough to convey to you in language. Yes, that's all you need, really, reading, writing, and arithmetic. In whatever language that you're in. You need to understand the language and how to communicate in the language in the place that you're in. Yes, you do. So, he said, loose thy foot. God can do a lot of things that we just cause him to be limited by our own unbelief, we are not confident in the Most High. And with that, I'm going to say, peace.
Walk with me.